Hello, gamers. It's me, Layton, here to do a little housekeeping bumper. Brian's audio quality is lower than usual this episode because he is a bad person, and also because he's still on tour and is recording on the go. And there's also no video this week because, due to my injury, I am recording in repose. Repose that is outside of my webcam's viewing area. But if you want access to every other video episode we've ever done, you can find nearly 4 years of them on our Patreon at patreon.com/LaytonKnight, alongside weekly minis, bonus content, our fan Discord, and more. All right, I'm in the home stretch of recording this bumper. I can almost taste not having to do more takes of this. And here we are. I don't think I left anything out. Enjoy the show! Brian, I'm coming in hot on this one. I know we have much to discuss between
Indeed we do.
traveling the world to bring music to the masses and me stuck in my apartment with a broken ankle, just Jimmy Stewart rear windowing 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really topical
Cream.
movie opinion. I mean, that too, but I wasn't going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very topical movie that I want to discuss. I finished watching it not 5 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And no, I did not ask you to push this 30 minutes so I could finish watching said movie. That is actually true. It just happened to also work out that way.
Okay.
Let's see. As it's recent, it's from the year 1996.
Oh.
A couple of months ago, starring Bill Paxton and Helen
Oh, wait
Hunt.
a minute. Did you watch Twister?
I did watch Twister for the first time, baby.
I have never seen Twister.
Shit. I was really hoping you had seen it because this would have been more interesting.
I think I've seen like parts of it from time to time, but I've never actually seen the full movie.
Yeah. Is it good? Is it fun? Yes.
And they're making a sequel, I hear,
They're
as well.
making a
Is that true?
soft reboot,
Hmm.
which is great. But yeah, you get to see some Philip Seymour Hoffman, which is always
Oh, that's
really...
right. He's like the rival, right?
No,
The
he's
rival
not. That's
Stormhunter.
Carrie Elwes doing maybe one of the worst Southern accents of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm going to spoil Twister for you and for everybody else, right? This movie is more Kramer versus Kramer than it is Jurassic Park. It's Bill Paxton.
Really? It's a family drama?
Not necessarily, but hear me out for a second. Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are both storm chasers, and as we're coming into the narrative, Bill Paxton is just trying to get his ex-wife, nearly ex-wife, Helen Hunt, to sign the divorce papers. But he's bringing his new beau, played by Jamie Gertz, into the situation to go get it signed. But then it turns into like, oh, we got to chase the tornadoes so we can release our new invention and track the data from the tornadoes. But Carrie Elwes has stolen their design and is doing the same thing. And the moment Bill Paxton shows up and sees Helen Hunt, it's like these two have the most undeniable sexual chemistry and also are both smart about the science thing. The whole movie, I was just like, I feel so fucking bad for this Jamie Gertz character. Like, it's a real mainstay in 90s, especially rom-coms, of like, here's the partner who gets turned into the antagonist just because they're not the like movie approved couple.
Right.
Like, they're not the ones who are meant to be together. And she's suffering from that, but maybe in the most egregious way possible I've seen in a movie, where it's like, not only is it humiliating for her, she's also in a life-threatening situation. Like, she gets dragged around for half the movie seeing scary tornado shit. And eventually, I mean, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are eye-fucking each other everywhere. I mean, it's a bad situation for her.
And also, in this point in their lives, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are hot.
Whoo!
I mean, capital H hot, both of them, right?
Not that Jamie Gertz isn't, but...
No, she's also very gorgeous.
No, but I mean the undeniable sexual appeal of Helen Hunt in a white tank top and like little sunglasses with windswept hair. Uh
Yep.
we get it. These are two people who want to fuck real bad and used to fuck, and the only thing stopping that is a piece of paper and this lame new fiance.
And the tornado.
And the right, and the tornadoes that are also in the movie. And I gotta say, the effects hold up. They
Really?
90% of them look genuinely really good.
Hmm.
You just
Now,
don't, if you don't think about anything that's happening or why they're doing it or whatever, then you won't have any problems. But if you do start
yeah,
thinking about it, then, well,
there was a whole stretch about this time. There's a whole stretch of like big blockbustery movies like this that I just completely missed out on
mhm.
because I was in college.
Well, it's interesting because I thought this would be
Like,
peak college Brian cinema because it's like, here are nerds who are cool.
oh, but Leighton, you forget that I went to college in the middle of nowhere, and to get to a movie theater was actually kind of like a chore.
I had to go uphill in the snow both ways, Leighton,
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
on a
I
brontosaurus.
I had to go uphill in the snow both ways while definitely having sex also in college. A thing I was completely doing.
Yeah, if we did like one of the memes where it's the two fists holding each other and one side is
Hmm.
18-year-old Leighton and 18-year-old Brian in parallel, totally having sex at 18.
Yep.
That's there.
Yep. That's right.
Uphill both ways.
But anyway, so I missed out on a lot of like of the moment things. And I guess over the summer I would have seen them, but I feel like this was a spring movie instead of a summer movie. Prove me wrong on that.
It kind of
Change
feels
my
like a summer
mind.
blockbuster. You're the one with the googling power on this one because my hands are nowhere near the keyboard due to my reclined podcasting in repose due to
Hmm.
my foot.
Uh, which you talked about on a previous episode.
I
Okay, a
did.
Twister movie. Let's see.
And also, Carrie Elwes gets a cartoonish Pixar villain death and is
You
like
know
the only
what?
person who dies.
Here we go. May 10th. Okay, it was a May
May
release
10th.
when
Okay.
I would have been in finals. So there you fucking go.
All right.
Um,
Jesus.
yeah. Who wrote this?
Michael Crichton and his
Oh my
wife.
God, no way. This is a
Yeah,
Michael Crichton movie? Fuck.
it is.
A couple thoughts on this. The Helen Hunt was very of the moment at this time. Also,
Mhm.
what I always loved about Helen Hunt, and I was never a big Mad About You fan, although I definitely saw a few episodes here and there,
You weren't mad
is
about it?
I suppose I was mad that I didn't get to see it.
At it?
Uh, Definitely at it, yeah. Mad
Mad
at
at
You.
you.
Yeah,
The
that's
Brian
that's
Wecht
the
version.
that's the reboot. They did reboot this, didn't they? The Helen Hunt, every character she played was smart, if I recall correctly. And I remember that being like pretty refreshing
Yeah.
in the 90s. Like she never played a dummy. And shortly after this, she was, did you ever see As Good as It Gets?
No, but I'm very familiar with the movie poster.
Yeah, because she is paired with Jack Nicholson
Yes.
in one of the all-time craziest romantic Hollywood pairings.
Yeah.
I have not seen this movie since it came out. I'm guessing there's no way this movie holds up, but
Sounds like we should watch it.
I think maybe we should because I think it's like Jack Nicholson has some kind of debilitating mental illness or something like that that is
Rude.
not portrayed in any reasonable way.
And
I'm
fucking
90%
Helen Hunt
sure.
is as good as it gets.
I, I believe so.
Does somebody turn to the camera and say, well, I guess this is good as it gets?
You know what?
And then,
I'm pretty sure something like that does happen.
wow. See,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing where if I had control of my keyboard, I would be Googling frantically. I
I
want to
think
know these things, Brian.
we should watch definitely these like 90s blockbusters. I think that would be a great idea for a
Yeah,
series.
I
Um,
agree. Especially, what's the scienciest bad science one?
oh, probably the core.
Or, oh, what's the if you die in the game, you die for real movie? The
Oh,
game. That's like 2000s, though. The game, I believe.
wait,
Not directed
wait,
by
no, no,
David
no. The
David
game is
Fincher.
the Michael Douglas one.
It is, but there's My ability to podcast is we're really at a this is very
It's
relaxed fit.
it's been a while. I'm in a hotel room in Baltimore at the moment.
Wow.
In case you can't tell, my audio is not up to my usual quality
Hmm.
because I'm talking on AirPods at the moment.
Ah.
Uh, I know, yeah, not to brag, humble brag, AirPods. Sorry, AirPod Pros because of my
Whoa.
innate proness. And we are, it's been, I mean, over a month, probably 5 or 6 weeks since we last recorded something. Not since we last spoke, but since
Yes,
we
because
last
the last
recorded
I saw
something.
you, I was in a hospital bed crying with broken bones.
Actually, I think I tapped out right before you started crying.
Right. Okay, good.
Rachel took over the crying. I don't like emotions, so
Well, neither have I. I didn't want to be there
right.
either. It's
You
just
seem
the
like
thing
you're
that
having
happened.
fun.
Yeah. Oh, and the crying that I did in the hospital then was just a little appetizer for crying in
Right.
the hospital at a later date.
Yes.
But this is a comedy podcast, so we're not going to talk about that.
No, indeed we are not. But you were doing much better now. You let a hot doctor get into those tootsies and work them all over, right? Just like really get in there.
Yeah, deeper than anyone's ever gone
Mm,
in
hmm.
these feetsies,
That's great.
with lots of unveiling of what was under my bandages on a weekly basis, new and fresh horrors every time, as you're well aware.
Hmm. Oh,
Um,
I'm aware because for about 2 weeks, uh, I got to share with my wife the story of a much younger woman who kept texting me feet pics.
to be fair, I was also sending them to your wife.
No, that's true, exactly. But I repeatedly use this descriptor of you. Oh yeah, that's just this 26-year-old girl who keeps texting me pics of her feet, and I'm not even asking for them.
I mean, compared with the actual photos, which will not see the light of
Oh
day,
yeah,
yeah,
because
not good.
again, so those photos are they fall into a category that I think of as if you sent them to someone, it would either be traumatic or the only thing they've ever wanted, and both cases are horrible.
Yeah, I've had to. It's funny because I ask people, like, hey, do you want to see how fucked up my foot is right now? And I have fully expected no's. And I know that I've surrounded myself with the right people because all I have gotten is, fuck yeah, duh, obviously, send them.
Yes.
And then
We
when
were
I'm like,
passing
I
them
have
around the tour bus.
videos, then they're like, yeah, send it.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm
I
glad that
mean,
all of my friends have seen my foot in the worst state any part of my body has ever been in.
yeah, that is definitely true. That was a pretty messed up foot.
Yeah, cartoonish. For folks at home, I'm just gonna say two words to you, and I
Mm,
implore you not to Google them. And I know in me
hmm.
saying that, you're immediately going to do that. But I had an issue with fracture blisters, and if you don't know what those are, maybe keep it that way.
Although, if you Venmo me $50, I'll send you the picture of Leighton's foot.
It's 150 for the draining video. Now, nut up, everybody.
Now, I did. Okay. So, wait, should we talk about tour? Well, first of all, everybody,
No,
this
we
is
should spend the
Leighton.
next 2 hours talking
Okay,
about
great.
my stupid foot.
Well, you know what? Fine. Foot talk. Podia
Finally.
chat.
This was where this was always going to end up.
We're having a podiatrist.
Uh, Podiac cast.
Oh, yes, that's right. The pod Aya cast.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, I've been sitting at home rotting in my apartment as my bones fuse back together
Hmm.
around
Hmm.
the new bits of metal in them.
Oh yeah.
You've been
Now you're a
traveling the
cyborg.
country with our friends playing music. So I would much rather hear about that. And also, this show is Late Night with Brian Wecht. I'm Leighton Gray. Brian Wecht,
What
tell us
up?
your story.
Well, it's been actually, now it is exactly 1 month since we've been on tour. And I mean, the short story is Torp and I are no longer friends, but we are continuing to work together out of professional obligation.
Yeah, I figured it was coming at some point.
Yeah. No, it's been the best. Like these So the
Oh,
crew
I'm glad you said that
is
because I really believed you for a second and started making
that's
wild judgments against you and everyone we know in the absence of any further information.
posting on the Twerp Reddit. Did you guys hear that Twerp and Brian are fighting? Um, the this fucking tour, like it's this is going to go down, I think, as one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm not kidding. Like, it
Wow.
is so joyous to be on the road with this group of people, and not just twerp, but there are I don't know if the TM tour manager wants us to say his name, so I'm not going to say it.
Good for him.
But he's awesome. We got Dylan working the merch.
Hell
We
yeah,
got
Dylan.
Dan running the sound, front of
Dan
house,
AV
as we
Dan.
call him. Yep, our AV coordinator, Dan AV Dan. Um, and Now Word, the other opener. And this collection of people, like, honestly, like everyone I've been lucky enough to tour with, this collection of people rules. It's like the perfect combination of extreme talent. I mean, Twerp is like some of the most insane musicians I've ever met. And everybody shows up on time, everybody works hard, but they don't take it too seriously, you
Yeah.
know? And it's the perfect combination. The shows have all been like, it's so fun. And my job, I have such an easy job on this tour. I do a half-hour set as Trey, so I have a pretty short sound check. My gear is just a laptop and a sax, and uh, I have a short sound check. I get to explore the cities during the day. I do a half-hour set, and then I've just been parking by the merch table after the basically towards the end of the show and slightly after my set, and just meeting people, meeting fans, just chatting with people. And typically, I'll be at the merch table for like an hour plus after the show,
Wow.
just talking to people. And it's so fun to. That's not something we typically do during an NSP show because it's just,
Right, you would
you
be
know,
killed.
I would be killed. But because it's a twerp show and people aren't there to see me explicitly, or most people aren't, I should say, uh, it's a little more manageable of a
Yeah.
line, and it's just nice, and everyone's cool, and it's so fun to chat with people and hear, you hear a lot of different accents and meet all different people from all over the countries, because Canada too. It's fucking awesome. Uh, I get to, one thing that's interesting for me is this is the first time I have done an extended set of performances where I actually get to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Brian
for
finds his
NSP,
voice.
yeah, and it is fun. I've done a lot of like talking performance, but never on tour. It's like storytelling stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
And it is really fun to kind of develop like a half-hour set, which is like there's a lot of talking in my set. I play 5 songs. It's like, you know,
Right.
5 songs over 30 minutes. There's a lot of room for bits. Not that I do bits, but I do provide extended audio experiences for the audience.
Right.
Um, so I've just been having the time of my life. The cities are great. Like there's not, no show has been a dud. Uh, Different audiences react differently. I told in Nashville, I was really okay. So what's my goal on stage, Leighton? What do you think my goal is on stage?
To have fun and to make everybody else have fun.
You're so close.
Drop the second part.
Correct. My goal, my ideal joke, and this probably makes me a bad person like so many other things.
It
My
does.
ideal joke makes 3 people lose their minds and results in total silence from everybody else in the crowd. And I told one in Nashville when Jim Roach was in attendance that he and Dylan, Merch Lord Dylan, and one of the sound techs cracked up at, and nobody else even
You
reacted to
gotta
the
hit me
extent where
with
they
this
did
joke.
not react. Uh, it was like as if I had not even said a joke. So, because I will never tell this on stage again due to the total lack of reaction, which is, by the way, perfect for me.
Yeah.
So, I will tell you this joke. So this is in character as Trey Magnifique, of course, a
Right, right, right.
asshole jazz musician. I said, I got the most adorable little piece of software to help me with my audio production. The other day when I booted it up, I was all like, "Daw."
Uh,
Yep. So for those of you who need that explained, which is probably most, DAW is an acronym that stands for Digital Audio, is it Workstation? I think it's
it is
Workstation.
workstation, I believe.
And that is something like Pro Tools or Logic or just anything you use to, record and manipulate music. And I wrote that. I've been trying to write stupid new jazz jokes every day or
Uh-huh.
music jokes. And I wrote that early on. And I fucking knew nobody would like it. And so I needed to save it for a night when I knew a
You would
friend would
have
be in the
somebody to back you
audience.
up.
Yeah, that a friend would be in the audience and hear it and say, I thought that was really funny and nobody else reacted. And that made it even better.
I'm really happy to
So
hear that. What's the
thank you.
most like crowd pleaser joke that you've done?
Well, do I want to burn it? I guess.
It
I mean,
depends. How much of the tour you got left?
we've got 2 weeks left.
Oh my God, you're gonna say it, and then people are gonna show up to your next two shows like, ugh, he already told this show. He already told this joke on late
I'm
night.
I'm I'm gonna wait on it. I'm not gonna tell it to you right now.
You're insane. Okay,
I'm not gonna say it because I don't want people to know what I'm gonna say
you don't want to spoil
before
a
I say
single
it.
person. I respect it.
I want to be a mystery wrapped in an enigma poured into a skin tight white suit.
Yeah. Is the goal for that suit to be skin tight?
Oh no, it's quite loose. If
It,
that suit is skin tight, I've done something wrong.
how
Like,
what's the current cleanliness level of the tray suit? Is that another thing you
well,
want to preserve the secrets behind?
no, we got it dry cleaned when I came back through LA, like halfway through
Coward.
toward. I know.
Coward.
Yes, indeed, you're not wrong. But
You're not a real outsider artist until you let that thing get stanky. So,
well, when you once you see how hard I bomb, then reevaluate me as an outsider artist. But no, believe it. Okay, but here's the thing: it definitely smells gross again. So
okay, well, you've
it's, I
got
mean,
that
it's
going
pretty
for you.
rank. I'm definitely sweating on stage. Um,
You're an outsider artist in that you're so bad twerp makes you sleep outside the bus.
outside the bus, yeah, on top. Let's see. I'll tell you some various tour experiences. So mainly, what I do when I go to cities is, and you can feel free, as always, Leighton, to interject with your various thoughts and ideas. They're always appreciated.
Of which I have
Uh,
many,
of course.
which I'll
Um,
elucidate for you now.
please. Great. So when I go to city, tip my go-to thing is go to the local art museums. You know this about me.
I do.
Because I have the LACMA membership, and a lot of them I get in free because it's a reciprocity thing. But if not, if it's not on, it's not on the thing, but it's a dope local museum, I will go to it. And I've seen some really great art museums, some of which I've been to before, but some of which I haven't.
How
So,
many pieces of art have you jerked off in front of on this tour?
in front of mentally or in front of physically?
Physically. Mentally, you and I both know as patrons of the arts, that's a nigh constant. That's a
That's right.
baseline. I
Well, let's
mean,
just say
physically.
nobody's caught me yet, because here's the thing: I'm fast in every sense of the word. I get there quick and then I run away.
that
And I'm
is kind
prepared.
of
That's the other thing.
that is really the ultimate MO of a serial masturbator.
Yep. You got to be prepared. Like
You
you
get
can't
in, you get out.
you have to know. Here's the trick is you have to know what the security guards look like because they're different in every museum. So you can't just, and this is a rookie move, you can't just walk into a museum and find the first piece of art you see and start jerking off in front of it. That's going to be a disaster.
Rookie
Nobody's going to.
mistake.
Absolutely. What you got to do is you go in the museum, you take a little stroll around. Also, you got to find the one that speaks to you, right? So you go in, you scope it out, you see what the security guards look like. Now, bear in mind, you're not looking for who the actual people are. You're looking for kind of the uniform they wear, right? So because people will change. Somebody will be sitting in a room, you walk away from it, then it's a different person. They go through shifts. So if you're looking for a specific person, that can really bite you in the ass in the long run, right? So what you got to do is you look for the uniform, and then you wander around. You find the one that's going to be the one. You know what I'm talking about here,
Right.
and then you go for it. And the problem is you have to concentrate on the art at the same time as keeping peripheral vision is everything when it comes to this particular game.
Right. And it's
So
disrespectful to the art if you're not paying like most of your attention.
should be 90-10 split. 90 on the art, 10 on your peripheral vision, making sure you're not going to get caught. Now you need
Right.
the supplies. I'm not going to tell people how to do their jobs, but is it a tissue? Is it a little cup? Is it a
An
pamphlet? I don't know.
apparatus.
Yeah, indeed. Those are harder to smuggle in, but I promise you it's worth it if you get the right one. And then
Gift
you go
shops
for
can
it.
be a great resource.
And listen, it does, it is a job. So if we're looking at more than 60 seconds, that's going to be a problem. And I know it's not always going to be a problem, but it will eventually be a problem. So you have to reliably go from 0 to 60 in 60. That's the rule of thumb that we say. As a public serial masturbator, you go 0 to 60 in 60. That's the way we know. Look on the forums. Everybody says it. It's practically a mantra. Okay. And then you got to get out. You got to get out of there because they do have cameras, right? There are a lot of things happening in art museums. This is also why you wear a mask. You should always bring some kind of mask or head covering because the museums talk amongst themselves, right?
Right.
So once one, especially in the same city, if you're in the same city and you're going to visit two museums in a day, it's better to do that fast, like it's better doing the same day than space it out because
Boom,
once one,
boom.
yeah, that's
Before
right.
they even have time to think about it, you came and you went and you came and you
That's
also
exactly
went.
right. Yep. So I mean, I hope these tips help people who are looking to get into this business. It is, it's risky, but it's worth it. You'll make some memories that last a lifetime, is what I can promise you. And if you need advice, I am a resource. I take my mentorship duties very, very seriously. So feel free to reach out uh, on any of the public forums. You know me, Art Jerk 420, and you can just DM me any questions you have.
Bravo.
Thank you. So anyway, the Phoenix Art Museum was pretty great.
Now, not because obviously legal culpability is a big thing in this hobby slash business slash industry. I don't want to ask you directly, but if you were to jerk it in the Phoenix Museum, which would you have chosen?
Well,
What
actually,
exhibit?
there
What
there
piece?
was. I wish I could remember the name of the artist. There was a whole photography exhibit
Ooh.
of someone who was just taking pictures of herself and other women naked in the woods.
All right.
So, I
That
mean, here's another tip. Take the same approach. You gotta let the art do some of the work for you, right? If we all love abstract expressionism. That's
Mhm.
going to be a challenge. If
Okay,
you need to.
you're telling me you've never done it in front of a Rothko. A big angry red square doesn't turn you on.
Oh, it definitely does.
All right, thank you. But not everything can be a Rothko.
Not everything. If you like,
I'm
here's
learning,
a good
Brian.
example. Clifford Still. That's a challenge for me personally.
Right.
Giant canvases, big drippy blobs, and I know you'd think that's what you're creating with this, but no, it's not the same thing.
What's your stance on like Renaissance, like Christian Renaissance art?
What's my stance? Wide for that one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there are variations
Yeah.
involved.
Okay, bit over. Well, not bit because I don't do bits,
It's
but
a it's
seg.
it's not a bit. It's a lifestyle, Brian, and you
That's
should know that.
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a job at this point. I am sponsored.
By who?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Lee. So I'm sponsored by Dove Body Lotion. Unscented, of course.
Scented rookie mistake.
Yeah, you get a little cut and it's all over with scented. You gotta go unscented. Look, it's yes, It's just skin, but you got to treat it right.
I mean, there was the one guy who got caught because the security guards like would smell the cherry blossom coming. Like you can't use Bath and Body Works lotion, guys.
No,
Doesn't work.
that stuff's garbage anyway.
I mean, it seemed like it was a bit of a, like part of it for him was that it was kind of a calling card, but the point of the calling card is that it's there after you're gone, not as you're actively doing it.
Yeah, you don't. This is definitely one of those occupations where you don't want a signature scent. Now, that's not to say you can't leave a signature mark, but as you said, you don't want them to smell you coming, literally.
Yeah. What is it? Take only pictures, leave only jism.
Yeah, leave only tissues.
If if I could physically get up without the use of my crutches, which are kind of halfway across the room right now, I would get up and leave. I'm stuck
That's a
here.
powerful statement. Um,
Thank you. If I was physically able, I would walk away.
this is,
Not even from you, from me for enabling this. Hey, maybe, would you like a carrot?
I think it's great.
I've
So,
discovered that
yes.
maybe's new favorite food is not white rice.
Mm,
It's raw chopped broccoli stalks and raw carrot.
that dog is a maniac.
She's insane.
She
She
likes raw
loses her
vegetables.
fucking mind. Broccoli stock, I you've seen her how excited she gets about white rice, but broccoli stock is a
Oh,
next
yes.
level.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's so cute because she just like crunches it up. I'm watching her trying to eat a piece of carrot right now, and it's hilarious. Are you enjoying that? Is it crunchy? What? This
Now,
dog is so happy. This might as well be a bit of like filet mignon.
mm,
She's a full LA girly now. What do you want next?
yeah,
Kale,
she's doing the raw
acai
food.
bowl.
She's what's the name of someone who only eats raw foods? What do you call those people? Idiots?
Brian, I was going to instinctively respond stupid, and I was trying to hold myself back until I could think of something better, and I couldn't. So,
Yeah, I couldn't either.
paleos,
Um,
what? It's paleo, right?
no,
But they
is
eat
that part of
meat.
paleo's more than that, right? Paleo doesn't eat raw meat.
I clearly know what I'm talking about. So, I ate
Um,
two. I ate two frozen meals today, and they were the same frozen meal. Lunch, dinner, got
what
them.
was it?
So, it
Was it your
was
Uncrustables?
no, it was uh, it's not. It's some chicken poblano. It's saffron
Hmm.
roads, cheese poblano enchiladas. It's
Hmm.
enchiladas with black beans and rice, and they're stuffed with cheese and corn, and
Oh,
they are
that sounds good.
so good. Like I eat a lot of trash frozen food, but that's one where it's like this is actually legitimately good and not
Hmm.
like my brain is happy because there are a bunch of evil chemicals in this good.
Yeah, every once in a while you get like actually good frozen food.
Yeah. I did it twice today. One while enjoying staring at Helen Hunt's beautiful bangs.
Mm. Uh, a guy I know dated her mother. I should have said that earlier on. Anyway,
Wow.
uh, let me talk a little bit about different cities
Yeah, please
that I've
do.
experienced, honestly.
Worst city,
So,
biggest dump. Go
oh,
off.
very easy answer for me. Jackson, Mississippi.
Oof.
So we had a day off in Jackson en route. So usually when we have a day off, today is an exception actually, but usually when we have a day off, it's because the two cities we're playing are too far apart for one bus ride. So we
Right.
played Dallas and then had to get to Atlanta and then stop somewhere in the middle, namely Jackson. Now, what did I do in Jackson? The thing that was the most interesting to me was the Civil Rights Museum. So I nearby, I did two things at Jackson. I went to the old Mississippi State Capitol, which is basically a reconstruction of that building, but it's an historic state capitol, cool old building, interesting history. It's like where they had the meetings to secede during the Civil War and stuff.
Sick.
Um, yeah, like the incredible, wild history. The building was destroyed and then basically reconstructed. And the Civil Rights Museum was really incredible. And by incredible, I mean absolutely horrifying.
Of
It's
course.
basically like the history from slavery through the modern day. And,
Exciting.
Mississippi was a catalyst for very important slash horrific events in 20th
Hmm.
century American history. Emmett Till was murdered there. Medgar Evers was murdered there. Like, bad shit happened. Um, but, there's a lot of interesting progress. Uh, and, certainly a lot of the shit in that museum is absolutely horrifying and very like hard to look at. But that's the reason you go. And also you realize that progress is made, even though vastly more slowly than anyone wants it to be. But
Yeah.
that museum was incredible. Like so well done, so well laid out, really thoughtful. I learned so much, all these incredible people who risk their lives to, just to be treated like people. Um, Amazing.
I love that we went from jerking off in museums to this
Well, that one was
in
a
galleries.
special challenge for that. I'll admit. But anyway, so I did the old state capitol and I did the Civil Rights Museum, and then I was like, let me go get food. And I went into a record store. Actually,
Hold on
actually,
1 second. My dog has escaped from me, and I know she's gonna start barking at me, so I have to like, without use of my leg, entice her back here,
yes.
which is not going to work. Maybe. Come on. There we go. All right, I'm back. Tell your story.
Okay, so across from the old Mississippi State Capitol, there was a record store whose name escapes me at the moment, but let me look it up because I want to. It was a great store, and I want to give them a little shout out that I really liked. This record store was called Offbeat Records,
Cute.
and very cute, very nice store. I saw an album there that made me. It took my breath away, Layden, and I didn't buy it because it was $70. But it was called the Pac-Man album from I think 1980.
Wow.
And I looked it up after I got back to the bus. I looked it up on YouTube and it is absolutely fucking crazy.
That's the one that you
I
dropped
mean,
in our group chat that everybody ignored, right?
yes, that is exactly right. It is beyond worth listening to. It terrible or is it incredible? I can't tell, but it imagines a truly wild alternate world in which Pac-Man lives, and the songs include Pac-Man's Magic Land, The Gang of Ghosts, He's Too Busy for Me, Turning Blue, If It's a Game, and I'm Number One.
If it's a kid, these are just
Uh,
Starbomb songs.
they pretty much are.
He's
Look,
too busy for
as
me.
yeah, well, I mean, he's just not that into you. Uh, he this album, look it up, listen to it. It's fucking nuts. It's so
okay.
crazy. So the things Jackson, Mississippi gave me were two interesting museums and the existence of this album, which I didn't want to lay out $70 for, but now I kind of wish I had.
Right.
Um, and then I was like, let me go get some food. So I walk 20 minutes because there's nothing like right where I was that
Let
seemed
me interrupt you
interesting.
real quick. Was this the
Yes,
point at which you started texting me?
yes. This is
Okay.
exactly the point where I start texting you. And I passed a cookout, an establishment that you and I have discussed at length on this show, albeit not for a while.
Right.
Um, I was aiming for a Waffle House, so I passed the cookout.
Okay.
I told her I was
Questionable, but
texting
okay.
you. I said there was a Waffle House, and what you said, I forget I believe your exact words were, "If you don't go to a Waffle House on this tour, I will kill you."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said.
And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to a Waffle House." I sat in this Waffle House. It's like 2 p.m.
Not
There's
before besmirching the menu of Waffle House in the first place.
no, no. This was after. I
Really?
walked into the Waffle House. I sat down. I looked at the menu in front of me, and it had literally nothing I wanted to eat on it. Everything looked
Pixar, it
awful.
didn't happen. Pixar, it didn't happen. Come on.
it was not the menu you sent me. It was a much more depressing version of it. It had like several things that were like ground meat bowls,
Ew.
which is not my cup of tea.
What the hell?
It
That's
wasn't
not Waffle House.
it was not waffle o'clock. There was one person working there. There was someone else just hanging out, and I was like, I sat down and I felt in my gut. I was like, I don't want to be eating here. This is depressing. So I
Okay.
left. The other establishments on this, like I passed the cookout. It would have taken a while to get back there. There was an Arby's, a Wendy's, and a Taco Bell. I was like, let me go into the Taco Bell. I walked into Taco Bell. It smelled awful inside. Like not
Buddy,
like,
you are shopping for apples at the oranges store.
oh, I know. But I like Taco Bell.
Oh
I
yeah, name
couldn't deal with
3
it.
Taco Bell menu items.
A cheesy gordita crunch, a Mexi melt, and a chicken soft taco.
Great news. I think those first 2 have been discontinued.
Okay, well, tacos, tacos, and tacos. Um,
Fair enough.
anyway, I like Taco Bell. I would have happily eaten a Taco Bell. Walked into Taco Bell, smelled like shit. I left. I was like, okay, let me try for the Wendy's. There was essentially a giant white truck covering up the entrance to the Wendy's, so I passed that, and I walked into Arby's. And the
No.
vibe in that Arby's was so off, I just walked outside and left. There was an interesting bookstore, actually. I read about a
The
good bookstore called,
strong negative energy in this Arby's is off-putting and disturbing. I must
yeah,
go.
it's just that palpable feeling where I was like, I walk in the restaurant, and I was like, I can't do this to myself. I'm better than this. I don't want this. Uh,
Just the
and not to besmirch anyone who enjoy. Look, I don't mind Arby's either. This was so decrepit and depressing. I couldn't deal with it.
Can you name something specific that was decrepit about it other than the fact that every single Arby's is like that?
It did not seem, I mean, to be blunt, it didn't seem clean. It just seemed very old and dirty. Like, I mean, I don't think this place had been updated in forever. Oh, fine. So anyway, I'd read about a bookstore called Lemuria, Lemuria. Spoiler alert, fucking awesome bookstore. Like truly awesome bookstore in Jackson.
Okay.
And I remember it had a cafe nearby. Okay, so I'm gonna get an Uber to this bookstore and I'll eat at the cafe. Cafe
I
turned
just
out to
want to
be
say
great.
it at this point in this story, you've texted me that you've walked into and out of 3 different fast food joints. And I think I
Yes.
said something vaguely threatening to you, and I don't remember what it was.
I mean that doesn't narrow it down.
I think I called you a coward
You definitely did, but you always do.
and elitist.
Well, they're both true.
Yeah. But the
So
cafe was good.
anyway, there's a coda to this story, which is I call an Uber. Now because it's Jackson, Mississippi, 20-minute wait for an
Yeah.
Uber. Okay, fine. So I'm standing in the parking lot of a Wendy's, talking to Rachel, recounting this saga, which is not that interesting. And I'm on the phone, and some guy next to his car waves me over. I kind of already know what's coming, but I go over to this guy. Maybe not the cleanest looking dude. Guy opens up the trunk of his car. He goes, "Hey, man, do you know anything about tires?" I say, accurately, "Not much, but what's the problem?" He goes, "Yeah, we got a flat. My dad's in the car. I got this tire right here. I don't know if it's the right one." I said, "Well, it'll tell you if you read the rim, like if it's the right size." The guy goes, he mumbles something about that, he doesn't know it's the right size. He doesn't have a jack. And then he gets to yeah, if I just could get $17 to get a new tire, then I'd really. And I was like, sorry, dude, can't help you. I gotta go.
Right.
As I walk,
$17 to get a
so
new
there's a,
tire.
right. Tires cost like a lot more than that.
Yeah, I know that
Anyway,
because I just bought new tires.
yeah.
Like today.
As I'm walking away from the car, the other guy who's been in the car very audibly says, "I told you not to use the tire thing. They're on to that."
uh,
And nothing about this interaction was threatening at all. It was just clearly, someone trying to scam money.
yeah.
And shortly after this, the Uber showed up and I got in and left. Um, that was my
Wow.
experience in Jack. Oh, no, but here's the other thing. here's the fucking other thing I forgot to tell you in Jackson. So we park the bus and get out. It's, I don't know, 10 a.m. or something. Get out of the bus, me and the driver, Des. Very sweet guy. Get out of the bus, pickup truck pulls up. Old white man inside. What y'all doing here? You know, excuse
Yeah.
my poor accent. And I'm like, is this the fucking neighborhood watch? Also, our driver is like a big black guy, and the guy in the truck is white. And I'm like, is this going to be a fucking thing?
Uh-huh.
It is absolutely not a fucking thing. The guy in the truck is just genuinely curious about the bus, talking to us about the band. Des driver is talking to this guy. Driver goes, you know what? Y'all on tour. I own this Outback over here. You guys eat for free tonight. Enjoy. Hands
Oh
us
my
his card.
God.
He says, I'm the owner. When you go in, show them this card. This is me. You got any problems, call me. Des, the driver, like takes the guy's card and takes his info. And the guy's like, I hope you have a great time here in Jackson. Have a blessed day and enjoy yourselves. And it was a very, it's one of those things where the moment this guy pulled up, I was ready for the worst. And it turned out to
Yeah.
be a very sweet man who was just genuinely curious about what we were doing
And
there,
wanted to give you
what
free
the name of the
Outback.
band was, and offered free food to touring musicians. And so we all ate at Outback for free that night.
Wow. That's so
Yep.
special.
It was very cool. So would I go back to Jackson, Mississippi? No, but that's a fun tour story,
Yeah.
Hey, only in Jackson, right? That's the motto.
Only in Jackson will that guy offer to pay for your Outback because he owns the Outback.
Yeah.
That must be a
Now,
lucrative franchising deal, right?
there was just an
Running an
article
Outback?
today about how people are like flocking to Outback again. It was like a Washington Post or something.
Wow.
Um,
Amazing.
Various other tour stories. I notice you have a dog.
I also noticed that I have a dog that left my lap because now she knows I can't chase after her.
Hmm.
I have a bowl of your favorite treats. You cretin.
You're crushing it.
I am crushing it, just like I'm crushing probably my foot by sitting in the position that I'm sitting in for the length of a podcast recording.
Do you need a break?
No.
Great. I'm gonna. Luckily, I don't hear tone. So,
No, you know
uh,
what? Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna go. I've been mostly off of painkillers, which is great.
mhm.
This has
That is
been
amazing.
since last week. I think my trial run of not being able to get them refilled in the days following the break
Ugh.
was a good practice run for me surviving without them. But I have been sitting at my desk for large portions of the day and am on this day discovering that's not a thing that I can do.
Hmm.
So give me a second and I'll be right back.
Yeah, take your time.
And I will get my dog. All right. I'm back and I'm winded from crutching around and then nearly falling over.
I heard that.
I was glad it wasn't like a whole true fall, but it was a partial fall. Maybe please work with me. Your mother almost cracked her head open again. Would you like to come here and sit on my lap and behave?
It'd be better if you called yourself mommy.
Yes, please do. Come to mom. You know what? No, I'm not doing that bit.
Yeah,
Come
good
here.
good call, actually.
Come here. Come on. Now you're going to stay here for the rest of the recording. That's right. No, no, don't go chase the thing that I dropped on the ground. Don't do.
Oh no, did you drop a waterfall? It's very bad to chase waterfalls. TLC taught me that many years ago.
Maybe come here. Come back. Fall for this again. Fall for it again. Come on. All right, great. Anyway, podcasting. Oh my God.
Podcasting. I would like to tell people the conversation I overheard in Salt Lake City that I told you yesterday,
Please,
because
please.
this was one of my favorite tour moments. So we finish our show in Salt Lake City. Fun show. And we're loading out, and it's late. I don't know, it's 1 a.m. And there are two people sitting at a table like outside a nearby bar, which I think was even closed at this point. The table was just outside. and I overhear the following conversational snippet. The guy in this conversation, I'm walking by and he goes, "Yeah, so my parole officer said, this is your last shot. You only get one more chance." And the girl goes, "But wait, you were gay?" And I just keep walking because it's none of my business. But nevertheless, this lodged in my brain as like, what is going on with this conversation right now?
The
Very
emphasis
interesting
on
snippet.
were.
Were, that's 100% yes. That's the
Like you
confusing part.
were gay because the way that that sounds, the only like, because you told me this yesterday on our weekly painting call, uh, the only thing that I can think of that would be like a proper explanation is if his parole officer statement is at the end of a very long tale of him spending time in prison.
I guess, but that seems unlikely. I don't know. I like to think of this conversation. It's like a Zen koan, right? It has no meaning.
Yeah,
It
right.
just you can investigate the meaning, and indeed you should, but there's no right answer.
Uh-huh.
Like the koan is just a thing that you use to contemplate the nature of the universe,
Yes.
and that's
But to
what this
hear
was.
that response, because in my mind, my idea of this conversation is dude is really bearing his soul here. And that's the takeaway. You
Yeah.
were gay?
So you were gay?
Because that's also how that
Yeah.
works.
That's yeah, definitely. Um, I'm trying to think of other tour memories. The art museums. Uh, so I saw some good ones in no particular order. Newfields in Indianapolis, fucking great museum, great museum, incredible museum. A lot of modern stuff. They have the original Robert Indiana Love sculpture, which okay, whatever. I don't really care about that, but it's cool that it's there. Um, but some very cool, like big modern pieces. Uh, a big Saul LeWitt. I saw a bunch of Saul LeWitt stuff
Who
actually.
is that?
He was a did a lot of like geometric shapes and really big kind of canvas stuff. 20th century artist.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
I'm laughing, Brian.
that's fine.
I have to text you a photo
Yes,
that I
please.
just took because the
Of your
dog's
dog.
yeah, she stopped barking, but the thing that she's doing now is funnier.
Okay, I can't wait.
She's been really on one. I hate to interrupt. I hate to interrupt your story, but I actually kind of love to interrupt your story because this
No, no, you
rules.
should.
And I love when we automatically have a photo for the episode, which doesn't always happen.
That's true. Oh wait, I can't wait to see this. I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay, this is the one where she looks dumbest. All right. I got her on my lap, and to prevent her from getting off, I've given her a bunch of carrots already. She chose to sit in this position.
I'm waiting for this photo with bated breath. There we go. Fantastic.
Note, I'm like literally holding her hand. And
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
if you zoom in on her face, there's just there's nothing happening behind
No,
those
that,
eyes.
that is devoid of brain cells.
Her little tongue is sort of out. she's
Oh yeah, look
she's
at
been
that.
doing this a lot lately, and I don't understand why. I'm like fucking crying because she's still just
What I really like about this picture is it's not hitting me anywhere near as hard as it's hitting you. It's sending you to some level of hysterics that I am just not picking up on by looking at this picture.
well, because she's actively in my arms at this moment. Let me frame it so it looks like she's spitting her hot take into the mic. What are your thoughts on abortion rights, maybe?
Next on the dog cast.
What's the name of Bill Maher's terrible show?
Real time? Oh no, Club Random.
Club Random. Welcome back to Club Random.
Club
Uh,
Randog. Club Randog with the Randogs.
Sorry,
Baby ran dog.
I'm milking this moment because it's all I have, Brian. She looks so stupid. Uh, anyway, sorry I derailed the show for that, but you have to agree. You have to agree that it makes for great audio
Yep.
content.
An extended bit where I wait for you to text me a picture. That is podcasting.
It is, and I'm going to keep sending them to you because I took a bunch.
So I don't know the name of the art movement that you'd call Saul LeWitt a part of, maybe abstract expressionism, but a lot of his stuff is very geometric. Okay, Saul LeWitt had a big thing in the Newfields Museum, like a full wall. All right, I just got another image from you. And this is a much stupider picture. Yes, this is much better. I like this one a lot more.
The next one is maybe my favorite.
Oh, because you're visibly laughing in this. That makes it even better.
You can see my eyes glassy with tears.
What I like is your emotion goes from kind of, neutral to, yeah, I'm smiling a little, to I'm losing my mind.
But look at her. Wouldn't you also lose your mind?
She's definitely fucking stupid lately.
Her little fucking tongue out. It's killing me. What is she thinking? Nothing. Nothing.
Nope. She's never thought anything. Why
right,
start now?
I'm putting my phone down. Sorry.
The Saul LeWitt that I like the most, there's a big, big canvas in Phoenix. And I believe the name of it, let's see if we can find it. It was called Sphere Lit from Above. Oh, wait. Yes. Phoenix Art Museum. There it is.
Hey, guess what? When I search Sphere Lit from Above, guess what it shows me? Spheres lit from above.
Okay. Well, listen. You're going to Google this and you'll be like, what's the big deal? The big deal is this is a giant fucking thing on a wall that is almost pointillistic in how it's drawn. It's so cool. Yeah, look for the one in Phoenix. Really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like Saul LeWitt. Saul LeWitt also did, in one of his last things, he did the floor at when I was there, a new building at MIT.
Yo, this really thing's fucking huge.
Yeah, I know.
No joke.
Like, it's really impressive and cool. And that's a lot of the stuff he did was like very, very big.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I like Saul LeWitt a lot.
What's the floor at MIT?
Oh, he just did a piece basically on kind of a floor in a new building at MIT. And I think that might be one of his last ever. He died shortly after that. One of his last ever works. So they installed that like right when I was working there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the Newfields Museum in Indianapolis was awesome. Phoenix Art Museum was fucking rad. They had a bunch of really great just permanent collection stuff, but they also had a Barbie exhibit where I was like, okay, whatever. How good could this be? Answer, fucking great.
Yeah, of course it was.
It was great. I mean, just all the, from the beginning through the modern day, all the different eras, different outfits, like influences. It was awesome. Like the Barbie outfits in the 60s, 70s, and 80s are incredible.
Yeah, they're very iconic.
Yes, Astronaut Barbie. I really liked Astronaut Barbie.
Yes.
And they also had a side exhibit, just a short little thing, which was just pink in fashion. And it was like maybe 20 outfits by famous people, like, it was like Coco Chanel. I think there was an Alexander McQueen, big names, all just pink in men's and women's clothing. Fucking cool.
Wow. That sounds really neat.
It was. And what other? I went to Dallas Museum of Art. It was really great. I went to Dealey Plaza. Got to see where Kennedy got shot. Because last time I was there, I forgot to look at the big X on the ground where the fucking shot happened. And I felt like such an idiot because I walked away from it. I was texting a friend of mine. He's like, "Did you see the X?" I'm like, "Fuck, I missed the X." And I couldn't go back. So this time I walked 40 minutes to Dealey Plaza just to see the big X on the ground. Stood on the grassy knoll, saw where the Zapruder film was, shot from.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I figured out who did it. I can't say, unfortunately, but let's just say, hey, you might think you understand it, but you don't. Yeah, I did a lot of. I did my own research on this one, Layden.
Oh, whenever people say that they've done their own research, you know that the conclusion that they've come to is very logical and reasonable.
Always, always, because they're independent thinkers, free
Yeah.
thinkers.
Hmm.
So the Dallas Art Museum is amazing, really great museum. So they had three like new exhibits on. I can't actually remember what the third was. The first was female artists reacting to works in the collection from male artists,
Huh.
and that was, it was like here's one piece and here's the reaction to it. It was cool.
Oh.
There's some great stuff. One was there's a famous Man Ray picture of a pool table. Well, somebody recreated the pool table in 3D, and there it is. Stuff like that.
Huh.
Uh, there
That's
was a
nice.
TV with a mermaid, like an actual 3D, like a TV with a mermaid tail spitting out of it. Uh, there was some, oh God, who was this artist? There was an artist who, I think this is a recurring theme for her, draws women as hot dogs. And there
I'm
was a
already
picture
in.
of this very female coded hot dog, like sensually fondling its like kind of vaginal bun folds. And it was awesome. It's kind of like a pop art style. Did I take a picture of
Yeah.
this? I don't think I did because I didn't want to seem like a complete creepo. Besides, I was
Right.
masturbating in
I
front
mean
of it
it's
at the
it's like
time.
one thing to
Yeah,
take a picture, it's another if you're actively jerking off while you're taking the picture, so I
that's
get
a
it.
100%. Yeah, there's only so many hours in the day. Uh, that was definitely a good choice to jerk off in front of,
I You
though.
have to let me know who that artist is cuz that sounds
I have to
awesome.
find it. I definitely didn't take a picture of it because it would have been extremely creepy. Um,
And so now
hey,
all
hey,
you
where,
have to
hey, can you point me towards the hot dog vagina? Where's that hot dog vagina? I gotta get
all,
that hot dog vagina.
all you have to do is go on Google and type in hot dog lady masturbating.
Did you find it?
No, I'm just saying what you would have to do to
Yeah.
find it, and I'm sure the painting would be the first thing that came up.
Yup. I guess I didn't take a wait.
No, my
There was
arms
a
are
picture of.
occupied embracing my beloved dog.
You know what? I'm gonna just Google this right now.
Put your tongue back in your
Dog,
mouth, you fucking weirdo.
hot dog lady, artist,
Why are you
sexy
doing that?
bun.
Fondling was felt
Wait,
like
is
an
this it?
operative word.
Yes, this is it. Ivy Haldeman.
Okay.
And this is a recurring theme for her. Yep,
I'm
this is
looking at our
her.
text thread and trying not to lose it because I'm just seeing those pictures of maybe.
Here, I'm going to give you, let's see if I can find an example of this. Here, I'm going to look actually. Ivy Haldeman. You know what's fun for podcasting is
We're talking
listening to
about
people.
pictures and art and searching stuff and
Yeah, here, I'm going to text you something. And this is an example of the sort of thing I'm talking about. Saving photos. Now I'm on a list. So this is not the exact one I saw,
that is how
but
it
here,
works. I mean, the government is looking for the deviant sexual behavior, like saving photos of hot dog women touching themselves sensually. That's the stuff that gets you on a list. Oh,
yes,
that's awesome.
it was very cool. Yeah.
Whatever you were describing, I wasn't expecting this, and this fucking rules. Not that I was expecting it to be bad, but that's gorgeous.
Trying to see if they have the exact one I saw.
You said
Oh,
Ivy Haldeman is the artist?
Ivy Haldeman. Yeah. Okay, well, I can't seem to find the exact one I saw, but it's a bunch of like sexy hot dog ladies.
I like her little meat feet.
Yeah, there's a lot to like here, and there's a lot to work with. Let's just say.
I want
Here's another one.
the homebody crossover where it says bastard on the bun, selfishly.
There's another one for you.
Watercolors, yeah?
I mean, plausibly?
Looks like it to me.
Yeah, you would know better than I would.
Maybe please put your tongue back in your mouth. I can't stand this. You can't keep looking at me like that with your tongue half out of your mouth.
So the other thing this museum had was a truly gigantic, this is Dallas again, truly gigantic impressionist um, exhibit.
Wow, who is he
I
doing
mean,
impressions of?
like George H.W. Bush, mostly like 80s and 90s political figures.
Wow,
Yeah,
these are
good
great.
question. These are good. So the impressionist was cool, and actually, I'd never seen early Mondrian paintings before he was doing just like straight lines with colors. There's some cool fucking shit in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, here, I'll text you one right now.
Thank you. This is great because then I can just look at my screen and information pops up for me to look at.
Yeah, I was like, that's they also had an early Kandinsky, which was like,
Ooh,
yeah, cool, right?
yeah.
So I was like, that's because, nothing like the Mondrian you know.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Damn.
here's another one. Like I couldn't believe these. I was like, these are incredible. I mean, I love them. I love the straight line, primary color Mondrian stuff too. But this stuff was like awesome. Um, and I think it's so interesting to me with these artists that become famous for like one thing, whether it's sexy hot dog ladies or straight black lines with primary colors.
Right.
Is everyone has a pretty big skill set, especially like, classic people who like went to school and had to do figurative stuff and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then kind of chose to leave that behind. And it is just, it's something I think about a lot, even with my own stuff, where
Yeah, I
it's
was about to say.
like people think of, probably the stuff I am known for is I played piano dressed as a ninja, but there's other stuff I do as well,
Yeah, you
like
contain multitudes.
fillet a saxophone on stage.
Indeed.
So
Yeah, it's sort of like Giacometti who does the long, skinny limb sculptures.
yes,
Also
uh,
did like very important cubist paintings as well, like a
hmm
woman walking downstairs, I think is the name of it.
yeah.
I don't have the hands to fact check this with, so if I just fucked up, remember I dropped out of art school. Thanks. Hey folks, Leighton here. I am, in fact, wrong. I am actually thinking of Duchamp, who's probably most famous for his sculpture of a urinal, and the painting I'm talking about is Nude Descending a Staircase number 2. As you were.
Those Giacometti sculptures do nothing for me. And I know they're tremendously popular, and it's like the thing he's known for. I've never been able to get into those. They're
Yeah.
like viscerally off-putting to me, which I think is part of the
You
point.
know the
But
style of clip art that's like exactly that?
yes,
It just makes me think of that clip art.
yes,
The
100%.
only one I like is the one that's in Homebody
Hmm.
because he has a little
I don't
knife.
remember. I don't know if I've seen that one yet.
I don't think
Um,
you got to that point where it is.
there was a big Calder exhibit in the Seattle Art Museum,
Nice.
which I don't know. For me, a little Calder goes a long way, but
Yeah, it kind of
it's
hurts your
cool.
neck a little bit to a degree.
Yeah.
With all the shit I gotta look up at.
Yep.
Try it at my eye
Yeah, a lot
line,
of mobiles.
motherfucker.
Oh, brutal. Podcaster annihilates mobile artist. Uh, yeah, and let's see. Are there any more tour stories that don't involve art museums?
The thing is that I
Uh,
guarantee any random day from your tour is more interesting than anything that's happened for me in the past month because I broke my shit 2 days before you left. So
yeah.
this overlap has been very interesting.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. I've had some of the most active, one of the most active periods of my last several years right now.
Uh-huh.
And
And
it's not over yet. We have like 2 weeks left, and you're just stuck at home
I'm breaking new
healing
ground on my already sedentary lifestyle.
and new bones.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, hopefully now that they've got a bunch of metal screws in them, including the ones that are actually sticking up out of my skin.
Which is nuts.
I know. I'm scared to see it. I have an appointment next week to like check on shit and make sure that it's okay because I think those get removed
Hmm.
and I don't I'm there's that short film. I don't think it's on YouTube. It's called Metallosis Maligna and it's like an old not quite horror short. It looks really dated and like goofy now, but that I
Oh,
can't stop thinking about that when I think about what's under this splint, and it's just a little short where it's like people get a disease where metal starts growing out of their bodies.
oh,
It's fun.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it's a cute
Sounds
little
good.
short
Sounds like
film.
Tetsuo, the Iron Man.
It is very much like Tetsuo the Iron Man. Not as cool and not as sexual though.
Mm, that is pretty sexual.
It
Uh,
is.
what else do I want to say? I've met a lot of people who came up to me after the show and said they listened to the podcast, which is so
Amazing.
cool.
I also don't
Like,
believe you when you tell me that.
oh, it's like yesterday I had I think three people in Richmond come up and say, "I love the podcast. I listen to it all the time. It's like my favorite thing." Uh,
Damn, what's up,
and
Richmond?
like while I was talking to someone, you texted me. I was like, "Oh, it's a text related, and I'll tell her right now." Um,
Aw.
yeah, so that's really cool to hear. Is just to meet people, and some people I know from the Discord.
Yeah.
Uh, who I met? I met Parks, Maggie May, who used to be on the Discord, and I don't think is anymore. But without knowing, she was a listener. I brought her up on stage in Atlanta, and because
Wow.
I do a little audience volunteer thing sometimes, and so people whose names I recognize uh, you know, from the Discord. It's nice to meet people in person.
Yeah. It
Other Toy
is nice to
Stories.
meet people in person. Well,
It is, and
also,
people are so nice. People are so kind.
my foot hurts and we should do segments, is what I
Oh
think.
yes,
I think we've
segments.
had enough of your little tour stories
Well, I'm trying to.
that I
There might
greatly
be.
enjoy hearing, and I'm delighted to hear. To be clear, I can't even commit to being nasty about it.
I'm trying to think if there are anything else. Let me just do a couple more highlights. Our show in Boulder almost got canceled because of high winds,
Oh, not because of a
and
boulder?
no, the boulders turned out. It turns out they rarely fall on the
Oh,
town.
Sisyphus
Um,
working double time in Boulder, Colorado.
well, yeah, I paid him a little extra to go slow that day.
Hey, good for him.
The there were high winds in Colorado the day of that show, and apparently there were high winds last year that downed power lines and caused fires. And basically at 2 p.m., this guy comes into the green room and he's like, "Yeah, if we get a power flicker, we're cutting all the power, and your show gets canceled. So good luck." And so every time, it was gusts up to 100 miles an hour,
Whoa.
and half of the town of Boulder was out. I was meeting some friends for
Someone get
dinner.
Bill Paxton on the horn. Also,
Well,
rest in
indeed.
peace, I guess.
Also, rest in peace. Truly, game over. The that they we were expecting. Thank you, delayed but appreciated. Um, uh, I was expecting that show to get canceled, and every time we got like 10 more minutes down the road, and it wasn't canceled, it was like, "Are we actually going to do this?" And we did it. That show happened without a hitch.
Very
Um,
nice.
Yep. Bus got a flat tire, but it got fixed. That's not an interesting story, but it is a true story.
What about one
Um,
that's uninteresting but a lie? The best of
oh,
both worlds.
uninteresting but a lie. Well, if you know it's a lie, does that make it?
I'm stupid,
Well,
so I'm not paying attention, and you can pretty much tell me anything and I'll believe you.
okay. I think Phobos hates me.
Oh, yeah, sounds rough, buddy.
He's really uncool to me on the bus.
Yeah, is
Like
he
he's
being
all
really mean like he always is?
he does that like kind of backhanded compliment neg thing where he's like, "Oh, good set today. It was a lot better than yesterday's." And I'm like, "What? What, what do you mean?" And then before I can ask him for clarification, he says, and this is a quote, "Later, toots," and he slaps me on the butt and walks away.
I'm sorry, it's really not funny that your friend is sexually harassing you. Sounds really demeaning.
It
And
really,
really
really is.
funny.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Maybe won't put her tongue back in her mouth.
That's look.
She's
If she's
all
hearing these hot stories about
she's all
jerking off
fucked
in
up
front of
on
art,
carrots.
yeah. Oh, that's right, the beta carotene. It's a notorious tongue extender. Um,
Yeah, and she is a beta.
oh yeah, believe me, it takes one to know one. I get it.
She loves David Carradine.
Um, oh, here's something I've been doing. Did I tell you about my Did I tell you about my merch strategy? Are you okay?
I thought, based on our earlier discussion about jerking off in galleries and me mentioning David Carradine and you going, oh, you know what I've been doing? I'm sorry that I'm
Hmm.
laughing at a bit you didn't do, but
I know it's probably funnier than anything I would have done.
sorry.
I'm
All right.
also because I'm in a hotel at like 11:50 right now. I'm trying to keep my voice slightly lower than normal,
Okay.
so I'm not react. If I'm not reacting in hysterics,
It's because I'm not funny and you hate me.
I didn't want to say it.
Okay, great. Well, we all are finding out things about ourselves and others today. Would you like to do segments?
I would like to do segments.
Great. Would you like to quietly introduce your favorite segment?
Yes, this segment is what's poppin'.
Here's the theme song for What's Poppin'.
Wait, I wasn't there yet. Don't interrupt my introduction. I was
Okay.
collecting my thoughts.
Okay, fine. I accept that you were collecting your
By the
thoughts.
way, I just want to say, and this is
Uh-huh.
you're going to think I'm lying to you, and I am definitely not.
Okay.
I've had several people come up to me and say that the What's Poppin' segment on this show is their favorite. And the thing they like the most is the theme song.
But not the
So,
introduction to the theme song?
and the introduction to the theme song.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
I can't look. People come up to me and they're
Uh-huh.
like, "Sir, you're so kind. You're so generous.
I
You're
noticed you
gorgeous."
masturbating in the corner of the Dallas
Yes,
Art Gallery, and I just
I
couldn't help but be
yeah,
enchanted.
I work as security in this art gallery, and I know you're a public figure, but would you please not jerk off in front of this hot dog lady picture? And that's when I fucking book it. And they still haven't caught me. And the answer is the same. You know why? Too fast.
Well, it's a
Fucking
good thing you
fast.
haven't admitted to any of that in a public
No,
forum.
what I say, I will, as with all podcasts, what I say is not legally binding and does not constitute a confession. I have not been sworn in, and nothing I say, if anyone asks, everything I'm saying here is a humorous anecdote, exaggerated for comedic effect,
Uh-huh.
except the part about jerking off in front of the hot dog lady picture. That one's legit.
Okay, great. Well, would you like to finish introducing everyone's favorite segment in your own
Yeah.
time as my dog pummels my tits with her back legs? She's trying so hard to get away, and in the process is just beating me up.
What's
You're
this segment?
7 pounds. You are 7 pounds, starring Will Smith. Okay.
Yes. And she's giving you a hind leg breast massage.
Sure.
Great. This segment is called What's Poppin', and the theme song goes here.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
Excellent. Layden, what's poppin'?
What's poppin' for me is I've been sitting on these for a couple of weeks since it's been a
Oh,
while
same.
since we've recorded, and these are the ones that I felt were most important because they follow a theme. It's not a single recommendation, but it's entries to prove a thesis. And that thesis is Al Pacino in the 70s may just be the
Oh,
most beautiful a man has ever been.
and a good fucking actor, too.
And a great fucking actor. But I went on a whole Al Pacino watching spree, and I'd like to recommend, first and foremost, Dog Day Afternoon, directed by Sidney Lumet. That movie is fucking amazing. It is so funny and so great.
I've never seen it. I've heard about it endlessly, and I've never seen it.
Yes, me too. And I always thought that it was like a really serious, gritty drama, and it's not. I mean, it kind of is, but it's like mostly a very funny comedy, and it's
I didn't
delightful.
realize that.
Yeah, I'd also like to recommend Serpico, uh, which is another Sidney Lumet movie, question mark. but it's just Al
Is
Pacino's
it?
really, really,
Wait,
really
Serpico
sexy
is
in that
Sidney
one.
Lumet? I didn't realize that.
I'm pretty sure. Fact check me on that,
I'm gonna look right now. I like
because
Serpico a lot. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he wears a lot of silly hats.
I watched Serpico. Yeah, you're right. It's Sidney Lumet.
Yeah,
Um,
baby.
I don't know what I was thinking about Serpico. It was just one of those movies I'd heard the title of and didn't know
Yeah.
anything about, and I watched it, and it was literally nothing like what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, same. It's great. Like, hey, do you folks not like cops? You'll love this movie. Do you think
Yeah.
Al Pacino's sexy? What if he looked kind of like Jesus?
Yep.
Um, very, very good movie. And then also, finally, as a huge Michael Mann stan, and
Hmm.
this being one of those movies that I've refused to watch out of sheer spite, just because
Uh-oh.
every time somebody goes, "What do you mean you haven't seen Blade Runner?" or insert movie here, it makes me want
Yeah.
to watch it less. And let me tell you, I finally watched Blade Runner and it wasn't that good.
It's fine.
It's okay. I understand. Anyway, that's the point. One of those movies was Michael Mann's Heat, and
I was gonna
people
say,
would lose their shit when I would say that I hadn't seen Heat, and I was getting really resentful about it. And then I
but
watched it, and
no, here's
everyone
the thing
who,
you don't, here's the thing, Leighton, I don't think you understand, is it's the first movie in many years with De Niro and Pacino in it. Don't
yes,
you, don't you know that?
yeah, I've seen The Godfather too. Fuck you.
Well, I also have seen The Godfather, but they were not together in The Godfather.
No. Wait,
Uh,
that's Heat is them being together, actually interacting. Godfather 2, they are not interacting because time, right?
that's right. Yes, exactly, because it's flashbacks. Yeah.
Yes. Which I watched Godfather 2 for the first time on this spree also, just so I could stare at him.
Hmm.
Both of them, really. My God. I didn't remember much from having seen The Godfather over a decade ago, but I got the gist based on being like, oh, it's like in The Simpsons. That's what they're on The Simpsons. They're referencing this bit.
I realize this makes me maybe an idiot. I can never remember anything that happens in any of the Godfather movies. I've seen them both. I've seen three once. I've seen one and two, maybe two or three times. If you
Yeah.
asked me what happened in those movies, I would not be able to tell you. The plot is in and out, in one ear, out the other. I can never remember what happens.
No, totally. They're not really the most legible. Why is her tongue out so much? What are you doing? Her tongue just keeps creeping further and further out of her mouth, and I'm baffled and distressed by it. And I'm sorry this doesn't make for good podcasting, but I'm concerned. You know, normally I'm yelling about her farting, but she's like, what's wrong with you? um, Anyway, Al Pacino in Godfather 2 is so wet and sexy that I just don't remember anything
Mm,
that actually happened of substance in that movie because he just
hmm.
looks like he is cut from stone. You could melt a pat of butter on that man's perfectly defined cheekbone.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
Uh anyway, yeah, Heat is fucking amazing. I loved Heat so much. So if people have been giving you shit for having not seen Heat, you should totally watch it because it's great.
Are you gonna read the sequel?
I should, honestly. I should.
I would be interested to hear what you think. Oh wait, another maybe picture. Okay, this one got me. This one I like.
Exactly. She's just sitting there like that. It's horrifying. She doesn't normally do this thing with her tongue out of her mouth. The blepification of maybe continues.
Indeed, it's great.
Yeah, so that's what's popping for me. Al Pacino, hot, very attractive.
Cool.
What's popping for you, Brian?
Poppin' for me is a book that I read while on tour, and I loved this book so much. It's comedy book by Jesse David Fox, host of the Good One podcast. Been out for a little bit. I've talked about Good One a lot on this podcast.
Mhm.
Uh, and this book is fucking awesome. Like, it is one of maybe the smartest comedy book I've ever read, book about comedy. The guy just knows what he's talking about. He's fucking like on it. He's not precious about it, but he gets it. Um, there's like it's fun historically, it's fun analytically, it's interesting philosophically. I just thought it is a, you know, I learned a lot about the field I am in by reading this book. I just loved it so much. He has an extensive reaction to "you can't say anything anymore" type people, uh, which is
Right.
manifestly untrue. But he, responds to it in a very intelligent and interesting way. I just thought this book was great. If you're at all interested in comedy, I just highly recommend it. Um, the only serious problem I have with the book is its rather glaring omission of certain comedy band,
Oh,
which, well, actually, in all seriousness, he does not discuss comedy music at all, which is fine. I mean,
execute,
it's not a bad thing. I just think nobody
firing
should buy the
squad.
book because of it. Yeah. Because this book did not cater to my one particular niche interest, therefore it is a hot piece of
I'm just
garbage
saying
and
what we're
nobody
all
should buy it.
thinking.
Yeah. Uh, it would have been nice to hear his thoughts on comedy music, but that's not part of what he wanted to do, I guess. But
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I thought this book was so great. I just, I had been sitting on it for a while. Rachel got it for me for Christmas because she knows that I really like the Good One podcast, and in my mind, this was going to be a good book, and it exceeded every possible expectation. I thought it was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's popping
Okay,
for me.
excuse me. Now it's time for our final segment, which is 3 parts gratitude exercise and 1 part petty grousing. And you know the name of this segment, people. It's Peaches and Lemons. And the theme
Hell
song goes
yes.
right here.
Peaches and lemons. Peaches and lemons.
There it is, baby.
Do you know how scared I was to fuck up the title of it after saying, you know which one it is?
Yet you
Frightened.
didn't. Leeches and Plemons.
Leeches and Clements. Um, all right, we're going to start with lemons. My lemon, aside from all of the big obvious lemons, which are uninteresting to me by this point, when you find a link that either solves your problem or contains something very interesting to you based on all of the replies to the link, but you click on the link and it doesn't work anymore, and you discover
Oh,
that this thread is from like 12 years ago.
this is the worst.
And then it's like, well, wait, that sounded awesome. How do I find that? And sometimes you can search and you can find it, and sometimes you're fucked. And I hate that. I really hate any sort of link structure from any amount of time ago that just like it's just inaccessible now. Sorry. Because if the person doesn't explicitly say this is XYZ from person A, how are you going to find it if it's just like, hey, check this out and this is the link? How am I supposed to see that?
Hmm.
That's my lemon. What about you?
Nice. My lemon, this has been relevant recently. My lemon is security guards in art museums who are a little too fast. And you're just trying to get something done, and they're like a little too
Right.
eager to stop you.
Yeah.
Um, can we just let bygones be bygones and
Right.
just let the thing that's happening happen and not get all like, you know, freaked out by something
Yeah.
that's outside your fucking cookie cutter normie world,
That's
right?
natural,
Yeah, it's natural, it's tasteful, it's sensual, it's a
literally and
celebration.
metaphorically.
Yeah, it's a celebration of the human spirit in so many
And
ways.
is that not what
I
art
mean,
is?
the fact that any of us individually exist is a fucking miracle, right? The number of things that had to go right for any human being to be in any one given place is just astronomically unlikely. And so we should really celebrate when a human being is in front of a piece of art that has inspired them and is just trying to reach the end of a very short process. Um, and just to
A generative process, mind you.
Indeed, a process that brings joy into the world, that creates pleasure where no pleasure was before.
Hmm.
So, because what is the point of art if not to create joy and make you think a little bit about why maybe you should have picked a different room this time, or why maybe, that extra 10 seconds that you were using to like get things going was a little too much. I'm an art connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also an art masseur, which I've been yelled
Oh.
at for doing, but apparently you're not supposed to touch them sometimes. Who knows? They should put signs up that say, don't get all up in the art. But
Well, they don't want you touching the art. They don't want you touching yourself. What are you supposed to touch then? What do I do
you
with
can't,
these?
Layden, you can't touch anything anymore. It's just a problem. So that's my limit.
So true, King.
Yeah.
This has been Club Random. uh,
Yeah.
okay, great. So we'll do Peaches. I'll do Peaches as my dog wriggles.
Mm.
Peach number 1. Despite everything, I am alive, not in very much pain, and in
Amazing.
weirdly good spirits, considering. So there's that. Something
think that's
about
great.
falling off a roof and knowing that if you had fallen slightly differently, you would be permanently injured or dead or whatever. 7 broken bones is pretty bad, but it could be a lot worse. And
Mhm.
that's honestly my self-help advice is well, I don't want to be legally culpable for my self-help advice, so don't listen to me. My second peach is that I have a box of Krispy Kreme donuts in my
Oh,
kitchen
shit.
right now, and I have not
Wow.
had Krispy Kreme in a very long time.
Hmm.
My third one is
I created some of that
Oh,
in the
good
Houston Art
God.
Museum.
Good God.
Sorry. I didn't need to do that
I'm
one.
gonna throw those away now.
That was a little above and beyond.
Yeah, that crossed a line, Brian.
That's what I
Have
do.
you
I'm
no
a-
decency? It's
I'm kind
nothing
of a-
sacred.
I hold a mirror up to society, Leighton, and I cause people to
And
question
society is
their-
asking you to stop.
Oh, yeah, legally. I've gotten the subpoenas, but good luck. Good luck, society. That's what I have to say.
Anyway, my last peach is just I'm deeply appreciative of all of the people who and friends who have supported me through this bullshit and helped out and been kind, and it means that I've had a bunch of my friends hanging out in my apartment, which is a thing that I am pathologically terrified of. And that's just been happening nonstop lately, and it's actually really, really nice.
That's wonderful.
So yes, I'm grateful. Big kisses to all of you. You know who you are.
Instead of big kisses, I prefer the phrase muchas smooches.
That too. All right, Brian, what are your peaches?
Peach number 1 is just that I'm having the time of my life on tour. I love these people. I love playing music for people. I love meeting fans of the podcast. I love everything about being on tour, except how fucking uncomfortable and awful it is to sleep on a bus for 6 weeks. But it's fine. It's all worth it. I love it. I'm having a great time. Peach number 2 is that I have a very, very tolerant and generous partner who agreed to let me go on tour for 6 weeks while doing full childcare for an active and inquisitive child.
Yes.
So Rachel has, there was never a moment's hesitation when this opportunity
When there
presented
really
itself.
should
She
have
was, there should have been weeks, if not months of hesitation. We should, from the get-go, she's like, you got to do this, do it. And that's amazing. And not everybody would do that. And when it comes to be my turn to support her, I'll have to break the bad news that unfortunately that's kind of it for our marriage. But up until that point, I do appreciate her. And my third peach is just the wonderful people across this great nation of ours doing God's work and embodying the values of real, true Americans. And that's everybody except the security guards in art museums, who are the lowest form of human filth. And just let a brother get there. Okay, guys, that's all. That's all I want to ask. Just be cool for once.
Can we end the episode there?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
All right, great. I just think there's nothing else that can be said.
No, I agree. I think that was great. Okay.
All right,
let me
great. So
stop.
everyone think about that. Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were actually going to end the episode there. But no. Bye, everybody. Please, we have a couple more weeks of shows. Come out and see me and Twerp and Nelward on tour. We're in the East Coast now, and then Ohio, and then Toronto. I think Toronto's sold out, but a lot of those East Coast shows still have.
Oh, I thought we were
got
going to
some room.
actually end the episode.
Well, too bad.
Leighton Night is produced by Brian Wecht, Leighton Gray. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/Leighton Night. Follow us on Twitter at Leighton Night, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at leightonnight@gmail.com.